Hey everyone, welcome to episode 18 of Heroic Nonsense, where we'll be taking a look at the brand new Origin Wheeljack from the Transformers Legacy United line. I've been really anticipating this figure since it is such a fun homage to the very first 1984 episode of Transformers, the show that got me hooked. And this toy does not disappoint. Stick around for the how-to transform part, the review, and some comparisons and build ideas. But let's start with Guess That Scene from the historic first episode of Transformers and see how many you can find. Now let me start by saying that the most show accurate part of the figure is the vehicle mode, but the devs did a nice job trying to get a Wheeljack figure out of that very boxy and much bigger Cybertronian vehicle mode as compared to his future sleek race car Earth mode. Yes, there's some kibble, but to be honest, if you're getting this toy, you're getting it for the vehicle mode. Regardless, the figure is very nice looking and has all the essential characteristics of Wheeljack, from his unique faceplate to his race car chest motif and all the right colors. What's also nice about this figure is that there aren't really any empty spaces when in robot mode. I also like how they generally kept his height, even though, as you'll see soon, the vehicle mode is huge. Looking at a still of Wheeljack, you can appreciate all of those nice unique Wheeljack elements I mentioned earlier. From the front and looking at his top half, he is fairly tune accurate. The legs are where the boxiness mostly come in, but overall, great looking and solid figure. As for his head, it's definitely Wheeljack. I think the devs did have to pull in his voice imagers on the side of his head a bit, but I really barely noticed that. You can also see his characteristic chest plate a bit better here as well. The side view gets a bit messy, specifically around the legs and back portion, as does his back, but you'd almost have to do a HasLab Unicron fold for these parts if you wanted to hide the bulk. His two front little spinny things can fit on his back when you don't need them in both modes, as does his laser. You can also take his vehicle mode energy shield and place it in this configuration if you'd like, but I'm fairly certain most will leave it off in bot mode. Doesn't look half bad though if you want a different look. And he also has some nice posability, as you can see here, having a good degree of movement in his hips and legs. Really important these days if you want to be able to pose these figures more dynamically. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is where the toy shines. This mode is perfect in my opinion for a whole slew of reasons which I will get into. For those really familiar with his character mode from that initial episode, you'll note all the amazing details that have gone into this. It's got this nice clear plastic side and front window, the unique sci-fi 80s future sloped windshield, place for those razor spinners, which do come off and on, and a ton of detailing in the colors and markings. He can even look like he is hovering because of a very nice use of his chest plate on the undercarriage. 10 out of 10 for me. Overall, it's mostly a smooth vehicle mode with very few exposed hinges. But even where they are, they fit into the overall aesthetic fine. The laser can also fit on the roof or can be stored with the spinners on the inside of the figure. Front view without and with those spinning razors. And an aerial view of Wheeljack where you can also see his characteristic green stripe across the top. Finally, the back view showcasing the door detailing, which will become more important as we will see in a moment. Now this is where the devs went that extra mile, as you can do so many things with this mode which increase the display and playability factor exponentially. Firstly, the back opens to form a ramp. Once untabbed, you can close the roof back down to create this image. Like in the cartoon, you can also store the energon rods that came with buzzworthy Origin Bumblebee. They even fit all the way in so that you can close up the back ramp if you'd like. Best part, if you fold up that very same Bumblebee's wings, he can fit right in. I really doubted that this would be an included feature when I first heard of this figure, but so happy they did this so that you can recreate that iconic scene from the first episode. You can even see Bumblebee resting inside from the side windows. Not something from the show, I believe, but a nice feature anyway. Those rods can be stored on the side fins of Wheeljack as well. And capping all these features off, you can place the clear blue plastic energy shields around his front and side windows to recreate that scene where the Decepticon Seekers are attacking him as he makes his way back to base. Another gimmick, the shield can be used to create a small portion of a Cybertronian energy highway, which is a nice bonus for displaying this or other figures. Alright, let's transform this guy. So first start by turning the head 180 degrees. And then swivel the legs 180 degrees like so. You'll have to pull this back part down a little bit. And then you can just push these two things right down. And then we're going to untab this part, and it moves down like so. The head fits in, you can see right here. Now we're going to take the arms, swivel them 180 degrees. And then we're going to open up these tabs, turn the hand at 90 degrees so that it's flush, and that allows you to turn it right in. And then turn that arm up like so with that tab open. Do the same thing here. Turn the hand in, push it into the open space, and then rotate that lower arm like so. Then you bring it up 90 degrees at an angle, and then bring it back down like this. Do the same for the other side, and you're going to see they're going to fit in a moment right here. See, look at these little tabs. Somewhat unique for this figure. And there you go, clicked in. Now we're going to do the fun part. We're going to untab the leg like so. This is from the back. You unfold that, open it up, swivel that down. You're then going to open this up and then turn it 180 degrees around like that. So you just rotate it. And another part to open up, you open that inside leg part up and fold part of it down. And you're going to take his foot, flip it around 180 degrees, and then just push it right into that empty space. We're going to do the exact same thing here. So untab this inner leg portion, open up the bottom, and then flip the foot around and push it right in. And then untab this other piece. So this is going to form the bay ramp that you'll see a little bit later. Now you got to unhinge these legs. Just unclick them like this. And now open up the window, the side window. You're going to do the same over here. Flip it up and then just open it. So now you can see the figure taking shape. Okay, here we're going to untab the roof portion from the windshield. And you're going to tab, you see these parts right here, into each other. Okay. And there you see those bay doors right there. We're going to tab these in. A little difficult to do on camera, but it's easier to do yourself. There you go. And now we're going to tab the side into the windshield portion, like so. Fits in really nice and snugly. Do the same for the other side. Okay. And now we're just going to bring everything together. You can lower the roof a bit, tab these parts in. They kind of stay loose until you actually close it all up. And now you can bring up the ramp and just tab all these parts into each other, push it tightly together. And we're almost done. This is the part I was talking about before. You take that chest plate, and take those little two tabs, push them in, and that allows Wheeljack to look like he's hovering a bit. And there you go. Really fun, unique transformation. Alright, now I'm going to show you how to put in Bumblebee. So if you have this figure, all you have to do is untab these wing portions, fold it up like so. Pretty easy. And grab your Wheeljack and just make sure it fits all the way in. Goes right up against the windshield, the front windshield. Put it in so that it's straight. Lift up this back. And you have to hold it all together because it's very tight. And you can press it down and it should all fit in nicely. And there you go. You can see Bumblebee right through that window. I figured I'd show these. These are the energy shields. So they come apart so that you can configure them either in that kind of Cybertronian highway kind of looking piece. You just click them together. It's very hard actually to pull them apart, so just you gotta put a little force into it. And here is the part that you can use for the windshield and side window energon barrier. Okay, let's do some comparisons. Obviously starting with Origin Bumblebee and Origin Jazz. Wheeljack is the bigger of the three. Here you can see what all these various sized figures from that G1 cartoon era look like next to each other. So again, even with his quite surprisingly big vehicle mode, his size matches up well with Optimus and the other bots. As for vehicle modes, a quick shot again of Bumblebee and Wheeljack next to each other, both looking just like their cartoon versions. And here next to Jazz in his Cybertronian mode, which we only get to see for a few seconds from far in the first episode. And of course, all three together. Wonder if or what they'll make next from this Origin subline. Here is Origin Wheeljack next to War for Cybertron Wheeljack. I was actually surprised to see that the War for Cybertron Wheeljack was taller. Huge amount of differences between these figures and completely different molds. Even the heads are a bit different proportionally. This is a great image so you can actually see how big and bulky Origin Wheeljack is. I was actually surprised when I picked this toy up in store to see the price tag, but makes sense once you see how big he is in this mode and all the engineering and bonuses that went into him. Since we're on Cybertron, why not end by taking a look at how he would compare next to Hot Rod and Blur. I think they actually fit pretty well together. I like the new United logo, and I think the artist did a really nice job on this Wheeljack image. Nice blues with some black and a dynamic energy surrounding Wheeljack making his way through the Seekers. Side view has the new look for this series and the new 40 years anniversary logo, which is really cool to see, with the other side showcasing robot mode of Wheeljack in a close-up as well as a very cool action pose. And we end with the back showing off some of his amazing features. Let's end this episode with some fun ideas for displays with this one of Earthrise Optimus, since we never see him in his truck mode in the first episode, and with the latest Alphatron also based off of the G1 cartoon and the three Origin figures. These three look great together in a display if you want the most authentic G1 cartoon vehicle modes of all of them. And may as well add in Orion packs from the Legacy A Hero is Born 2-pack with Alpha Trion, not to be confused with the recent Data Clerk Orion packs from the 2-pack with Senator Shockwave, who I reviewed not too long ago, link here. This Orion pack is also based off of the G1 cartoon version, so displaying these 5 together is the most accurate G1 cartoon display you can have at the moment. So that brings us to the close of episode 18. The new Transformers are slowly trickling in for me, so I'm excited to start having more of these brand new figures to review. If you've enjoyed this episode and want to see more and help grow the channel, please subscribe and like the video so I can keep bringing you more of these. See you all next time, and remember, it's all such heroic nonsense in the end.
Transform!